I, 47 feuds, never thought I'd be airing my dirty laundry on Reddit. But here I am, desperate for advice, because my whole damn life has imploded in just a week. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this mess, and frankly, I'm furious. Let me lay it out for you. I've been married to my husband, 49M, for 6 years. No kids, we were too busy chasing our careers. I'm a lawyer, he's some hotshot executive. We met at one of those pretentious charity events, and I fell for his act hook, line, and sinker. He seemed so perfect, charming, smart, and actually got my ambition. What a joke that turned out to be. Our relationship was a whirlwind. Engaged in 6 months, married a year later in some fancy ceremony. Everyone gushed about how perfect we were, successful, good-looking, so in love. Ha! If they only knew. Sure, we had our ups and downs, but I thought that was normal. God, I was so naive. I look back now and want to shake my younger self. How could I have been so blind? Then my sister, 45 feuds, drops the bomb that she's pregnant. We were all thrilled, of course. She's been married to her husband, 46M, for 8 years, trying for a kid forever. My sister and I have always been close, more like best friends than siblings. We shared everything, at least, I thought we did. Turns out we were both pretty good at keeping secrets. The irony is not lost on me. To celebrate her pregnancy, we had this big family dinner at their place last Saturday. I was actually excited about it. Took time off work to help her prepare, bought her some overpriced maternity dress. What a waste of time and money that turned out to be. I even spent hours looking up healthy recipes for pregnant women, as if she gave a damn about the health of her baby or her marriage. The evening started fine. About 10 of us there, me, my husband, my sister and her husband, our parents, some family friends. Their houses was all done up with this sickeningly sweet baby-themed decor. I remember thinking how much effort my sister had put into it. Now I wonder if it was all just for show, another part of her elaborate deception. I headed straight to the kitchen to help my sister, leaving my phone in the living room. Stupid mistake. As we're catching up, I noticed my sister kept glancing at the clock. I thought she was just nervous about the pregnancy. If only I'd known the real reason for her anxiety. Was she expecting a message from her lover? Was she counting down the minutes until she could get rid of us and call him? The thought makes my blood boil. Dinner went smoothly. Lots of toasts, baby talk, all that crap. My husband was being extra chatty with my sister, which I thought was sweet at the time. He even offered to help with the nursery. What a stand-up guy, right? Wrong. Now I see it for what it was. Just another opportunity for them to conspire, to strengthen their sick alliance. It all went to hell when we got home. I reached for my phone and realized it wasn't mine. My husband had accidentally swapped it with my sister's. No big deal, right? Wrong again. It's funny how such a small mistake can blow your whole world apart. I called my sister to let her know about the mix-up. Her reaction was weird, to say the least. She freaked out, insisting I shouldn't look at anything on her phone. Red flags everywhere. I should have known then that something was off. But no, I tried to rationalize it. Maybe she had some embarrassing pregnancy-related searches. Maybe she was planning a surprise. I was making excuses for her even then. Now, I'm not usually one to snoop, but her reaction set off all kinds of alarms. Against my better judgment, I checked her notifications, and there it was, an email from my husband. The subject line, "Don't use your pregnancy as an excuse to meet him too often." My heart stopped. Who the hell was him? And why was my husband emailing my sister about it? With shaking hands, I opened the email. What I read made me want to vomit. It was crystal clear. My sister was having an affair, and my husband knew all about it. Not only that, he was actively helping her cover it up. The email was full of advice on how to avoid getting caught, suggestions for lies she could tell, even recommendations for secret messaging apps. The level of detail was staggering. How long had they been doing this? How many times had they sat around, plotting ways to deceive me and my sister's husband? I couldn't believe what I was reading, but it got worse. As I kept scrolling, I realized this wasn't just about my sister's affair. My husband had been cheating on me too. The betrayal was double-edged, cutting twice as deep. I felt like I couldn't breathe, like the walls were closing in on me. This had been going on for years. Years. They'd been exchanging emails, helping each other hide their affairs. They even had the nerve to joke about it, calling themselves the Cheaters Club. The level of deceit was staggering. I read email after email, each one feeling like a knife to my heart. There were messages about close calls, about times they'd almost been caught. They congratulated each other on particularly clever lies. It was like reading a how-to manual for infidelity. I sat there for hours, reading every single email. I couldn't stop, even though each new revelation felt like another blow. I wanted to know everything, every dirty little secret they'd been keeping from me. By the time I was done, I felt hollow, like someone had scooped out my insides and left nothing but an empty shell. I confronted my husband as soon as he got out of the shower. At first, he tried to deny it, but I threw his own words back in his face. I quoted his emails, watched as the color drained from his face. He crumbled and admitted everything. Part of me wanted to laugh at how quickly his lies fell apart. The great deceiver, undone by his own words. Apparently, it started 3 years ago when he caught my sister with her lover. Instead of telling me or her husband, he confronted her directly. That's when she revealed she knew about his indiscretions. He'd been using dating apps for hookups. So they struck a deal. They'd cover for each other. My husband claimed he never physically cheated, that it was just flirting and sexting. As if that makes it any better. Years of emotional cheating and lying is just as bad, if not worse. I was too shocked to even cry. The two people I trusted most in the world had been lying to me for years, conspiring behind my back. It was all just a game to them. I wondered how many times they'd laughed about it, how many times they'd congratulated themselves on fooling me. The thought made me sick. I kicked him out that night. He begged and pleaded, promising to end it all, swearing he'd never physically cheated. But how could I believe a word he said? Every promise was just another lie. As he packed his bags, still trying to explain and apologize, I just stood there, silent and cold. I couldn't even look at him. The man I thought I'd married never existed. It was all a carefully constructed lie. The next day, I called my sister, told her I knew everything. She broke down, alternating between apologies and justifications. Claimed her lover was her true love, that her husband didn't understand her, begged me not to tell her husband, saying it would ruin her marriage and the pregnancy. She even had the nerve to appeal to our sisterly bond. What a joke. Where was that bond when she was lying to my face for years? I hung up on her, couldn't stand to hear any more lies. Her voice, once a comfort, now made me sick. I wondered how many times she'd called me, pretending to want sisterly advice, when really she was just covering her tracks. How many times had I unknowingly helped her deceive her husband? It's been a week, and I'm still in shock. I haven't told my sister's husband yet. Part of me thinks he deserves to know, but another part hesitates to blow up another marriage, especially with a baby on the way. But is it fair to let him live a lie? To let him raise a child that might not even be his? The weight of this knowledge is crushing me. My husband won't stop calling and texting, begging for another chance. He says he'll do anything, counseling, full access to his phone and email, even change jobs. But how can I ever trust him again? How can I look at him without seeing the years of lies? Every time my phone buzzes with another message from him, I feel a fresh wave of anger and disgust. I feel so lost and alone. My whole world has been turned upside down. I can't sleep, can't eat. I've taken leave from work because I can't focus on anything. My colleagues are worried. But how do I even begin to explain this mess? Sorry, I can't come to work because my husband and sister have been lying to me for years. Yeah, that'll go over well. I keep replaying every interaction with my husband and sister over the past 3 years. Were there signs I missed? Should I have known? I think about all the times my husband worked late, all my sister's girls' nights. Were they all lies? How many times did I unknowingly enable their betrayal? The thought that I might have actually helped them in their deception makes me want to scream. The guilt is eating me alive. Should I have been a better wife, a better sister? Did I drive them to this? Logically, I know it's not my fault, but emotionally, I can't help but wonder if I could have prevented this somehow. If I'd been more attentive, more loving, would they still have strayed? But then I get angry at myself for even thinking that way. They're the ones who cheated. They're the ones who lied. Why should I feel guilty for their choices? And the anger. God, the anger. It comes in waves, threatening to drown me. How dare they do this to me? How dare they lie to my face for years, all while playing happy families? The betrayal cuts so deep. I'm not sure I'll ever recover. There are moments when the rage is so intense. I want to scream until my throat is raw, smash every dish in the house, burn every memento of our life together. I want to hurt them like they've hurt me, to make them feel even a fraction of the pain I'm feeling. I'm considering divorce, but the thought terrifies me. We've built a life together. Our finances are intertwined. We share the same social circles. Starting over at 47 seems impossible. I've been looking at apartment listings, trying to imagine living alone. The thought of coming home to an empty houses every night, facing the world alone, it's overwhelming. But then I think about staying, about trying to rebuild our marriage, and that seems even more impossible. How do you rebuild something that was built on lies from the start? As for my sister, I don't know if I can ever forgive her. She wasn't just my sister. She was my best friend, or so I thought. How can I ever trust her again? All those times she held my hand through tough times, all the secrets we shared. Was it all a lie? How long has she been laughing at me behind my back? I think about all the milestones we've shared, birthdays, holidays, our weddings. Were they all just opportunities for her to perfect her deception? I'm torn about what to do next. Part of me wants to blow everything up, tell my sister's husband, file for divorce, cut them both out of my life completely. Scorched earth policy. Start fresh. But another part of me is terrified of being alone, of starting over. I've been a wife and a sister for so long. Who am I without those roles? The thought of facing the world without my two main support systems is terrifying. But then I remind myself that those support systems were illusions. They were rotten at the core. And what about my sister's lover? Who is he? Does he know she's married? Is he married too? Am I obligated to find out and tell his partner, if he has one? I've thought about trying to find him online, but I'm afraid of what I might discover. More lies, more betrayal. Part of me wants to confront him, to see the face of the man who helped destroy my family. But another part of me knows that's a rabbit hole I might never climb out of. The worst part is, I feel like I can't talk to anyone about this. All our family and friends love my husband and my sister. I'm afraid they won't believe me, or they'll take sides. I can't bear the thought of being doubted or blamed for this. I've always been the strong one, the one people come to for advice. How do I admit that my life is falling apart? That the two people I trusted most in the world have been lying to me for years? I've thought about therapy, but the idea of rehashing all of this with a stranger seems exhausting. And what if they tell me to forgive, to try and work it out? I don't think I have it in me to forgive this level of betrayal. The very thought of it makes me angry all over again. So here I am, spilling my guts to strangers on the internet. I need advice. I need support. I need someone to tell me what the hell to do because I'm completely lost. I feel like I'm standing at a crossroads, and every path looks dark and terrifying. Should I give my cheating husband another chance? The thought of it makes my skin crawl. But is it better than being alone? Should I tell my sister's clueless husband? Is it my responsibility to blow up his world like mine has been blown up? Should I hunt down my sister's lover? Would knowing more details make this easier or harder to deal with? How do I move forward from here? How do I rebuild my life when everything I thought I knew has turned out to be a lie? How do I learn to trust again when the two people I trusted most have betrayed me so completely? If anyone has been through something similar, please tell me how you got through it. Did you stay? Did you leave? Do you regret your decision? How did you learn to trust again? How did you rebuild your life? Is there life after this kind of betrayal? I feel like I'm drowning in a sea of lies and betrayal, and I don't know which way is up anymore. Any advice or words of support would be appreciated. Thanks for reading this far, and thanks in advance for any help you can offer. God knows I need it. I'm sorry for the long post. I didn't mean to write a novel, but once I started, I couldn't stop. It's the first time I've put all of this into words, and it's both terrifying and cathartic. I feel raw, exposed, but also somewhat relieved to have it all out there. I guess that's why people turn to strangers on the internet. Sometimes it's easier to bare your soul to people who don't know you, who don't have any preconceived notions about who you are or who you should be. I know I have a long road ahead of me, regardless of what I decide to do. There will be good days and bad days. Right now, it feels like the bad days are winning. But I'm trying to hold on to hope, however faint it might be, that someday this won't hurt quite so much. That someday I'll be able to look back on this as a turning point rather than an ending. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And if you've been through something similar and come out the other side, please share your story. I need to believe that there's light at the end of this very dark tunnel. Update 1. It's been a month since my last post, and holy hell, what a month it's been. Thanks to everyone who read my story and offered advice. Your support's been the only thing keeping me sane in this nightmare. After discovering the betrayal, I spent a week in a daze, barely functioning. Your comments finally kicked my ass into gear. You all pushed me to confront those lying snakes, and damn, was that hard. But necessary. I decided to ambush them together. Invited them over under the guise of discussing the pregnancy. Ha! The look on their faces when they walked in and saw me sitting there, cool as a cucumber, priceless. They knew they were busted. I laid it all out, the emails, the cover yupas, years of deception. Watched them squirm like worms on a hook. They tried to interrupt with their pathetic excuses, but I shut that down fast. I demanded the whole truth, and boy, did I get it. What came next was like a tsunami of bullshit. Turns out, the affairs had been going on even longer than I thought. My dear sister's been screwing her lover since before her wedding. She admitted to marrying her husband just for stability, always planning to keep her side piece. What a piece of work. And my husband? His just flirting and sexting story? Complete crap. He's been having full-blown affairs with colleagues and random women from dating apps. The extent of his lies is mind-boggling. But the cherry on top of this shit sundae? My sister's baby isn't her husband's. It's her lover's. She was planning to pass it off as her husband's. The audacity of these people. I sat there, listening to secret after secret, feeling like I was trapped in some twisted soap opera. except it's my life. These people I trusted most have been living double lives for years. When they finally ran out of steam, I asked them one question. Why? My sister burst into tears, spouting some crap about never feeling truly loved by her husband, how her lover understood her. Gag me. My husband just shrugged and said he felt trapped, loved the thrill. Assholes. Both of them. I kicked them out. Couldn't stand to look at their lying faces anymore. My sister had the nerve to beg me not to tell her husband, as if she deserves any consideration. The next few days were a blur. I told my sister's husband everything. Poor guy was devastated, but thanked me for being honest. We formed an unexpected bond, united in our misery. I also tracked down my husband's affair partners. Most had no clue he was married. A few knew but bought his "we're separated" lie. Humiliating, but they deserved the truth too. As for my marriage, it's over. Divorce, no question. The trust is shattered beyond repair. The man I thought I married never existed. I've lawyered up and started divorce proceedings. My husband's begging for another chance, promising therapy, transparency, the works. Too little, too late, buddy. All I see when I look at him are his lies. My sister's marriage is also kaput. Her husband couldn't get past the betrayal, especially with the baby bombshell. She's moved in with her lover, still insisting he's her true love. Give me a break. The hardest part. Dealing with family and friends. Some are supportive, but others keep pushing me to forgive, to work things out. They don't get it. They don't understand the depth of this betrayal. I've had to cut off the reconciliation pushers. It's too damn painful. I'm still wrestling with guilt and self-doubt. Did I do something wrong? Could I have been a better wife? But I'm trying to drill it into my thick skull that their choices aren't my fault. I didn't force them to cheat. They chose this, over and over, for years. The anger comes and goes. Some days I'm burning with fury, others I'm drowning in sadness. I'm mourning the life I thought I had, the future I'd planned. It's like grieving a death, except the person never really existed. I'm in therapy now, trying to sort through this emotional dumpster fire. It's helping, I guess, slowly. I'm starting to see that there might be life after this betrayal. Hard to imagine, but I'm trying to cling to that hope. For now, I'm focused on the practical shit. Separating finances, dividing assets, house hunting. It's overwhelming, but it gives me something to do besides wallow in misery. The future? Who knows? Trusting anyone again seems impossible right now, but I'm taking it day by day. Rediscovering who I am without these traitors in my life. It's terrifying, but also kind of freeing. To those who pushed me to confront this head-on, thanks. It sucked, but it was necessary. To those who shared their own stories of surviving betrayal, your words have been a lifeline. I know I've got a long, crappy road ahead, but for the first time since this shitstorm hit, I feel like I might eventually be okay. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. Thanks again for the support, everyone. It means more than you know. Update 2. Just when I thought this shitshow couldn't get any worse, life decided to throw a few more grenades my way. It's been another month of pure chaos. Thanks again for your support, folks. I need all the help I can get right now. First up, my sister's pregnancy saga. Remember how I said the baby wasn't her husband's? Well, hold on to your hats, because this roller coaster just went off the rails. My ex-brother-in-law demanded a paternity test. Can't blame the guy. The results? Explosive. The baby isn't her lover's either. When confronted, my sister had a complete meltdown. Turns out, she's been sleeping around with multiple guys. She was so damn sure it was either her husband's or her lover's that she never considered other possibilities. Genius, right? The fallout's been nuclear. Her ex-husband is shattered all over again. Her lover ditched her, feeling betrayed. Oh, the irony. Now she's alone, pregnant, and facing the music. Part of me wants to feel sorry for her, but mostly, I'm just too pissed off to care. This whole mess has forced me to question everything I thought I knew about my family. The sister I grew up with, a complete stranger. It's like peeling an onion of lies, each layer more rotten than the last. But wait, there's more. Just when I thought things couldn't get any crazier, I got a call from Child Protective Services. Yeah, you read that right. Sepias. Turns out, our father and stepmother have abandoned their kids. I have 3 younger half-siblings, 14, 9, and 7. I've tried to stay in touch, but our father made it difficult. I had no idea how bad things had gotten. Apparently, they've been struggling with alcohol addiction for years. The situation kept getting worse, with the kids often left to fend for themselves. But last week, they hit rock bottom. They cleaned out their bank accounts and just vanished. No warning, no arrangements for the kids, nothing. A neighbor found the kids alone in the house and called the authorities. That's when CPS got involved and called me. I was floored. How could our father do this? And why the hell didn't I know how bad things were? I've been so caught up in my own drama that I missed this ticking time bomb. CPS asked if I'd take custody of the kids. Me? Take in 3 kids? I'm in the middle of a divorce, barely keeping my own life together. How am I supposed to raise 3 children? But then I thought about those poor kids. They must be terrified, abandoned by the people who were supposed to protect them. How could I turn my back on them too? I asked for time to think. The past 48 hours have been a whirlwind. I've had to take a hard look at my life, my capabilities, and what I'm willing to do for family. The thought of suddenly becoming responsible for 3 young lives is terrifying. I'm not a mother. I've never even wanted to be one. My career has always been my focus. How can I provide what these kids need? But then again, how can I not? They're my family. They're innocent in all this. If I don't step up, what happens to them? Foster care? Being split up? The thought makes me sick. I've been on the phone non-stop with my lawyer, trying to figure out the legal and financial implications. I've talked to HR about family leave and flexible work. I'm even looking at bigger apartments. It's overwhelming. The practical challenges are daunting. Work, childcare, school, medical care. How do I juggle all that? And how do I handle the emotional needs of 3 traumatized kids when I'm still dealing with my own shit? But every time I start to think it's impossible, I remember the alternative. Those kids in the system, scared and alone. How would I feel if I found out years from now that they suffered in foster care when I could have helped? So, after much soul-searching and many sleepless nights, I've made my decision. I'm going to do it. I'm taking custody of my siblings. I know it won't be easy. I know there will be days when I question my sanity. But I also know it's the right thing to do. These kids need stability, love, and support. I might not be perfect, but I can give them that. I've started the process with CPS, home visits, interviews, mountains of paperwork. I'm frantically preparing, buying beds, clothes, school supplies. It's a crash course in parenting, and I'm terrified of screwing it up. But amid all the fear and uncertainty, there's a glimmer of something else. Hope, maybe. For the first time since this whole mess started, I feel like I have a purpose. These kids need me, and maybe I need them too. I'm not deluding myself. This is going to be hard as hell, but I'm committed. These kids have been let down by too many adults already. I refuse to be another one. To those who shared fostering or adoption stories, thanks. Your advice has been crucial. To those offering encouragement, thank you. Your belief in me has helped me believe in myself. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know how I'm going to manage being a sudden parent to 3 kids while dealing with a divorce and rebuilding my life. But I'm going to give it everything I've got. So here I am, about to face the biggest challenge of my life. I'm scared shitless. I'm overwhelmed, but I'm also determined. These kids deserve a chance at a stable home. And maybe, just maybe, in helping them heal, I'll find a way to heal myself too. Thanks for listening to this latest chapter in my soap opera life. I'll update when I can, but for now, I've got 3 kids to prepare for. Wish me luck. I'm going to need a whole lot of it.